45.
Looks like Tom Duncan.
Sounds like, must be a duck.
Jersey girls are the best.
Yeah.
What?
The bunny ears are back.
All right, guys, we are back for another edition of Laugh, Learn, and Eat, the podcast, and we are situated downstairs. This is downstairs, right?
It's ground level.
Ground level.
I don't want to say downstairs. That makes it feel like we're in a
Why
basement.
is it not
Beautiful
downstairs?
view with the pool over here.
The pool. The rain has stopped.
We're at NAMMBA Connect, though.
We're at
That's the
NAMMBA
important
Connect
thing.
2024.
Sure.
We have the one and the only, the industry maven, mortgage maven. How's that? Industry mortgage maven.
Okay.
Oh.
Lindsey.
Gotten that.
She's dropped down from Chicago
Yes.
into Orlando, Florida.
Fourth generation mortgage professional?
Yes.
Fourth generation.
Crazy.
Like, okay, so explain to me this. How many years is a generation? Is it like 35 years or is it 25 years?
It depends on how quickly you have
'Cause
kids.
I know we use the word
My generation is short. I had kids really early. It's my 20s, early 20s when we had our first kid. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, so we're talking like 80 years in the mortgage industry.
Well, it started with my grandpa, father, myself.
Wow.
What did your
Great-grandma.
grandpa do? Your great grandma
Yeah.
was in the mortgage or real estate?
The for mortgage broker, yeah. So
So now we know why she's an industry maven.
Well, no, but we gotta get
It's
this.
all making sense now, Lindsey. It's all coming together.
We gotta get this story. Tell great grandma
yes.
in the mortgage. So what did she do? What year is this? Where was she? I need the whole story.
All right. Well, you mentioned Chicago
Yep.
area. So it's actually was my grandpa Don Springer and my dad Brad Springer who developed one of the first licensed mortgage companies in the nation and in Illinois.
Wow.
So
Oh my gosh.
license I believe was 001 in Illinois. So
Shut up.
Oh.
Okay, that's pretty rad.
so I'd like to say I was licking the envelopes at like whatever 6-8 years old and
Yeah.
my old box TV in the basement trying to stay cool in summer and sending out those rate cards and
No
Wow.
kidding.
$2 for it and
That's
started my career when I was
6 years
Yeah, 6 years old. And you thought, man, this looking at envelopes is great. I'm going to be in the mortgage business. That sounds awesome.
right. I mean,
You're probably the only person ever who ever grew up wanting to be in the mortage business. Because it was just kind
Well, hold on. You're assuming that. You're assuming that, right? I mean,
assumption.
we've jumped far ahead, Joe.
Well, let me ask you that then. Did you grow up, because it's a family business, right? And
It is.
a family affair. So did you grow up just thinking like, man, I really want to grow into this? Or was it like, yeah, I'm just going to do it? Or like, were you anti? How was that?
I think like most things, I didn't really know what this meant.
Yeah.
And we all continue to grow and see different perspectives of who you want to be,
Hmm.
right? So I think back then I just saw my dad, my grandpa just getting out there, a lot of people knowing them, being able to see how they speak to people. I brought my daughter to the conference this year. She's 10, so she can see a little bit of what you do or what we all do and get a little bit more
Now,
empowered.
do you have her set up funnels for you? Like this, the alternative licking stamps is now creating funnels.
You know, she's actually starting to manage my TikTok.
Oh,
here we go.
okay. Come on over here. Come here.
That's
awesome.
Come on.
We
Give her a
need
round
to
of applause,
do
guys.
this.
Come on, let's do this. Watch the little there and this is awesome. Look.
This is Avery
So this is the fifth
Hi,
generation
Avery.
mortgage person, right? Fifth generation. That's
You're
amazing.
managing TikTok. How do you like that? So, it's fun, yeah.
You want to keep going with it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Now,
sure.
let me ask you a question. I mean, do you do dance moves for this, or do you just do just regular TikToks?
You're giving her so many ideas. Is the next one a dance move? What was the first one when we opened the invite?
You asked me to help you because you didn't know anything about it.
Oh,
Hey, you know what? We learn from those that know.
Yeah.
Right? And you know what? I've got how old are you?
10.
10 years old. Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super fun. Well,
Are they aware of what you do?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I asked her what I do. It's always a different answer.
Well, yeah, I get the point of like, Dad, that's so cringe. Like, stop doing that.
yeah.
Because I got like 16, 14, 12, and 8
Oh, wow.
years old. But like, so you fit right in there. You're actually the missing link. We need to join our family because we have that 4-year gap versus every 2 years. So you can come
you
join.
can start this envelope licking crew.
Envelope looking. Yeah, they're great. They're great. Yeah, they're great. But that's awesome. Yeah, thanks. Well, actually, let's talk about your Beanie Babies here. What do we got?
Oh,
Thunder,
Here, show me
Show the camera.
Put up there.
This one's Thunder. This one's Bumper. And then this one's Hedwig from Universal.
Headway.
Nice.
Oh, awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, thanks. You're free to go. You can stay if you want.
She's like,
How do I leave? Thanks.
My intern for social media.
There you
So
go.
cool.
Love it.
That's the goal.
Well,
so.
she did an amazing job. That's incredible. That's incredible.
The cool thing is that, you know, this is what we're talking about, like the generational thing that we learn from. We were just talking with Karina Carter about this,
Yeah.
right? As we're always learning.
Yes.
You know, we don't, like, if you think you know it all, you're really missing the boat.
Yes.
You know, so I mean, talk about that. Like you obviously coming from a mortgage history family, right? So you come in and like Joe was asking, like, did you really want to be in the mortgage industry, or did you want to be a rebel and say be a rock star or something?
I wanted to make money.
There you go. Yeah, and
I always loved real estate too. You know, a lot of our friends and family friends, and I mean, going down to, I'm going to throw out Matt Porter from US Bank or Chris Canova from United Home Loans. You know, my dad worked with them, and I introduced Chris to his wife, Martha. Or
Okay.
Matt worked at the country club. He was so young as the waiter, and he came over, and my dad hired him as a loan officer. Now he runs a region at US Bank. So
Oh my
it's
gosh.
just so nice to connect with everyone. And I always knew I wanted to be like my dad and my
Yeah.
grandpa and my family. But like I said, I didn't know what that meant. And now we have a company called Rate Plug. And it took a very long time to understand even what that meant, being in the industry or having experience. So, and
Rate Plug's a great company, man.
so you guys have both heard about Rate Plug.
Yeah, but why don't you pitch it real quick?
Okay.
Little elevator pitch.
Well, I mean, let's not pitch it. Let's just talk about it, right? I mean, basically, you put in a rate for your client, like let's say your client is 7.25, and you say at 6.5, my borrower could save money. So you get that. Is that right?
It can be right, yes, because there's a lot of different aspects. So we have marketing pieces where you can kind of get really drilled down depending on if you're speaking to that specific consumer. But what we are doing now, because it's changed probably from when you used it back.
I am old. Let's just throw that out. 30 years in the mortgage business. I'm ready to go walk out into the
No,
sunset.
I want to be mentored by the 30 years of experience. So I think
There you go. That's great.
so Rate Plug's integrated into the multiple listing services across the nation. So
Wow.
we work with over 80% of real estate agents, and it's a free membership through their affiliation with the MLS, the multiple
MLS,
listing
yeah.
service. So
Where do you see like Rate Plug helping loan officers on a regular basis, like the regular loan officer guy, right?
yeah,
My guys who use Rate Plug or they use
there's so many
there's
total experts.
total experts out there. They
Yeah.
got Sales Boomerang, which is now something Trust Engine.
Mhm.
So they got all these different things. So where does Rate Plug like differentiate itself in that kind of spectrum?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, actually. We are the only company that is inside the multiple listing service. So there's no one else that has that ability to pair a real estate agent or agency with their preferred loan officer
Mhm.
or company. So when a agent flips on and says, yes, I want to work with Matt Porter, let's say for an example, Matt then pays the fee to sign on. And now Matt's featured inside that MLS to every single buyer that's going to be looking at properties through that.
That's
real
that's
estate
amazing.
agent.
That really is amazing.
And that's where the payment comes from.
Yeah. Now, is this the same as List Report?
List reports are a little
Similar but different.
It's in that grouping where everyone can think, oh, we do the same thing, or oh, there's a flyer.
Yeah.
But really, it's taking the time to not just pass it by, but really understand what the differences are. How can you get the most value? What works for my team? What works for now? So with Rate Plug, I think it's the ability to connect to your agents, see the activity, be able to provide their consumers pricing information and a loan officer you can trust or go
Yeah.
to. And there's just a lot of different metrics. I won't pitch
Yeah.
yet, but if you
No.
like to learn more, let me know.
I
But
know,
That's
like the
great.
first time I used Rate Plug was in the late '90s, and I was just so excited. Like I think I got an email or something saying that this borrower is now going to save money.
yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I got to call this guy right now. You know what I mean? And then I didn't call
incredible.
him. 'Cause I was,
You didn't call him.
No, 'cause I'm your
What
typical,
did you do?
I was your typical loan officer. I get notified. I don't take any action.
Gosh, that's painful. Let's talk about that.
How often do you pick up the phone to call?
Every day.
Do you
If someone
text? Do you call? Do you just email? What is with the driving force? Because I've really been getting back to basics of just picking up the phone.
Yeah.
There's so
I
much
think-
value in that. Let's talk about that for a minute, because
let's
you know
do
what? I think it used to be, and then we were all three of us were probably just terrorized or traumatized from how many phone calls we had to make earlier in our careers. You know, at one point I was making 100 dials a day,
Totally.
right? And
Yeah.
you're just like, oh my gosh, if I have to talk to one more person, I don't want to do it anymore. Email. Oh, so much easier. It's like I can blast out hundreds of emails in a day, no big deal.
Yes.
Now, and texting was like, you can't text somebody. That's like, it's going to cost them money if you text them, right?
Maybe
But
not
now,
legal.
and now, yeah, maybe not legal. That's right. Good point too. But now it's almost commonplace to just text before you even call somebody. But like if I get a phone call, I'm like, oh my gosh, who is this?
Yes.
And especially if you're in lending, you want to pick up the phone. It might be a borrower, it might be a realtor. So it's a great way, I think, to differentiate differentiate yourself today is to actually pick up the phone and call somebody.
Sure.
Because we're not used to it. It's a like disruptor in your day.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, I need to do something different.
Yeah.
So
I think the big thing for me is always is salespeople, and I'm guilty of it also. So I'm not just picking on salespeople or anybody else, but at any level, right? It's not always salespeople, by the way. Follow up.
yeah.
Right, and I recently made this, my walk with Sammy, my dog,
Yeah.
by the way. I do this video every Monday where Sammy, I walk through the trails, and I talk about whatever's on my mind.
Love it.
And I started thinking about one day, like when we're playing golf, we always talk about how, driving is for show, but putting is for dough.
Mm.
And I said to myself, you know what, like going to these conferences and networking and meeting new people, that's the drive.
It is. Yeah.
But when I follow up with Lindsey, right, and I say, hey, Lindsey, remember we talked about this at NAMMBA? That's where the putting comes in. Now
what would you do? Just meeting me? Because it's
Yeah.
probably personal, like knowing me now, well, I said I'm a caller, but what are you? What would you do?
I mean, for me, I'm a SVP of Homecoming Mortgage and Equity, right? So to me, it's about how am I going to broaden my footprint nationwide, right? So who can help me push my brand? Who's going to be able to take me to the next level?
Hear that, SVPs?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like we're out here doing this kind of like if you're not doing this
You gotta
on the
get out
ground
there.
level,
Yeah,
I can't understand this because like the industry is changing rapidly,
it is.
and if you don't feel the pulse of it anymore, you can't sit in this office and just think it's just going to be fine anymore.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I could, I guess. I mean, but I don't want to.
But that's also leadership, though, is you have to actually walk the walk, not just talk the talk. So if your originators are seeing you actually out there doing the work that you're telling them
Right.
to do, they're going to get out there and do it.
Yeah.
But if you're just telling them go out to these conferences, go out and network, they're not going to do it.
Yeah, I think it just takes a little bit of look. Me and Tony Thompson and I did a great talk on this like 5-6 years ago, where we talked about the anxiety levels people feel when they walk into an event.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so my whole thing was, how do I release the anxiety? And the biggest way to do it was start talking to people.
Yeah.
Right? The minute you start talking, the anxiety goes away.
Yeah.
But to get through that moment, it takes a little bit of mindset.
Or
It
get me
does.
started at 10.
Get you started.
Thank you.
That's right. Yeah.
I want to talk about this real quick, John. We got a couple minutes. Okay, I want to talk about this real quick. Is the NAR settlement just occurred? We are now in the post NAR world, right? This is like the new age, kind of like the SAFE Act from 2010.
High five.
High five. All right.
Yeah.
High five.
Right?
Make it positive.
And the realtors are coming up now.
Yeah.
They're going to have their mastermind from 1 to 6 today here, right? At the JW Marriott at NAMMBA Connect, right? Real estate agents. What does it feel like for them obviously you're talking to realtors.
Yeah.
What is the general feeling from them?
I think it depends on, once again, who you are, how long have you been in the industry. I think newer, like even Gen Zs or just anybody coming into the industry, it's a different type of plan and walk forward, and they have to be really innovative, but there's a ton of opportunities out there that we're going to see a huge push of a unique products and ways to leverage business and work in that real estate space, even with the home buyers, other realtors, et cetera. So I think that, it just all depends on the person. And I think that there is some nervousness. Everyone's talking about how people are going to be weeded out potentially, but personally, I think realtors are imperative. My realtor was like my therapist when I bought my house.
Yeah, you need it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think that it's going to be very interesting.
So it's kind of
interesting to
similar
see.
thing that we went to in 2010 with the SAFE Act, where loan officers thought, oh my God, it's over,
Yes.
right? We're not going to make any more money, blah, 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 that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think the big deal, I think the biggest piece of this is that you have to have that tough conversation up front.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas before, just you were as a buyer's agent, you're able to kind of sweep it under the rug how you actually get paid.
Okay.
Right? That's
People even ask. I mean,
no one asked.
yeah.
You're just like, oh no, don't worry about it. The seller takes care of it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the seller is still taking care of it today. It's just that you have to have an agreement with your buyer's agent up front. And most people, I feel like buyer's agents really got a lot of them got away from a buyer agency agreement.
100%.
Well, I mean that's true, but
And they just hope
listen,
to get
in the
away from
seller's
it.
market. I'm in the DC metro market,
Yeah.
right? Which is still a hot seller's market.
Yeah.
So the feedback I'm getting from our realtor partners is that some listing agents don't want to tell you if they're going to pay if the seller's going to pay any commission.
Yeah.
They're like, well, just make your best offer and we'll see what gets approved.
But then you have the back and forth. That's
Right.
why I agree
Yeah.
with you, Joe. You need to be straightforward and upfront and have that hard conversation, not confuse anybody. We're the experts.
Yeah.
So we need to help that.
Yeah.
That
That's
potential
fine.
buyer.
Yeah, it's all part of the negotiation.
Yeah.
I think it's better for everybody.
Yeah.
That it is part of the negotiation, because as a buyer's agent, you also want to say like, hey, look, I'm gonna do what's best for you, the buyer. Right.
Yeah.
And having that your commission be flexible, but like have your draw your lines, right?
Yeah.
Hey, look, if we're gonna enter this agreement, I actually have to pay for my family.
Yes.
I gotta take care of my family, and I'm gonna be compensated in some way, form or fashion.
Yeah.
And so, and everyone's aware of that. Everyone knows that it's going to work. It's just a different way of getting to the same end result.
Well, this has been a public
Yeah.
service announcement from Laughlin and
Trying to create the positive energy.
Yeah, it's all
out there.
good. It's
Something-
here. It's
if you're
done.
going to buy a house, make sure you talk to your realtors. Realtors, make sure you talk to your buyers. Lindsay,
Yeah.
is that the right advice?
I completely agree. Do your research, talk to people, and best of luck. It's a time to buy.
And
As it is the
if
time.
you ever see Lindsay at a convention, make sure you go up and shake hands. She is an amazing personality. I just met her like 20 minutes ago, and I feel like I've known you all my life.
Well, we'll
Swear to
see
God.
how you follow up.
Ah, there we go. Yeah.
All right, JP, get us out of here, brother.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
45.
Looks like Tom Duncan.
Sounds like must be a duck.
Jersey girls are the best.
The bunny ears are back.